We back.
What's up? We are back for another episode, man. Can you believe it? Man, this is awesome.
What is this
We are
episode?
you know what? I think I lost count, so I
Man, me
gotta go
too.
back and count again.
I think it's
Say,
I
man,
think
me
it's
too.
episode 9. I
Okay.
think it's episode 9. Yeah.
And we done made it to
So
9
yeah.
episodes. Man, we done talked about some good stuff on here too. You know, I
We
believe that
have.
people have gotten some good stuff out of. Shoot, I got some good stuff out of the conversations that we've had. Some stuff that has made me think. Um, shoot, remember the doctor episode we talked about? Shoot, both of us, I done been to the doctor. You know, I'm
Went to the
excited about it.
doctor, dude. Went to the doctor. Look at this. I went to the
See,
doctor
man,
today, y'all. I got proof. Look. The boy got shots. Boy
dang,
got a
I,
tetanus shot and
I
everything, bro.
I almost had I had also had a doctor's appointment today too. It was virtual, so I was able to take it on my lunch break while I was at work. But yeah, man, we out here taking
Look
care
at
of
this,
ourselves.
man.
We out here getting
You got
our
to practice.
servicing
You
going
got
on.
to practice what you preach. That's right. You got to practice what you
Yes,
preach.
sir. Yes, sir. We taking our car to get
Even
that
though
all
my wife
changed.
made the appointment, it made me go, but at least it happened though. It ain't about that. It ain't about
Hey,
how it happened.
at least you wasn't stubborn or using your ego like, no, I'm the man. I'm gonna go when I get ready. So you know, at least we're past those
Right.
points in our life. So, but okay, welcome
I tried to
again.
back
Welcome
out a couple
again.
times.
Did you? Did you?
Welcome,
You know
welcome,
what?
welcome.
That's how it is sometimes. Welcome everybody. This is Man with 3 N's. Man, me too. We are back for our
Man,
9th episode,
me
and we
too.
just thank you all so much. Whoever is a part of it right now, we thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
Whoever's going to join, we appreciate everything. We appreciate all the comments that you all have been leaving. We appreciate the interaction that you all have been doing with us. We're so grateful to even be in the mindset to even do this. We're grateful for God to, be using us in this aspect. Um, just to be able to have
Yep.
the mindset to want to make a difference in the world, to make a difference among our people, to make a difference among in the
Hmm.
culture, to make a difference in the world. So you all keep us lifted up as well, because we're it's not like we're coming on here like we have it all together, and we're walking out this thing as well. So we're talking about these different topics and subjects, but we're actually living these things as well.
Yeah.
And it's just geared to open up the conversation so we all can grow and go from this.
Yeah.
So what you got to say,
Make
Carl?
make make it relatable to let people know you ain't the only person going through this, man.
Yes.
We all walk in this journey, and it may seem like we be alone sometimes, but same stuff happen to you be happening to me. That's why I be like,
Man.
man, me too.
And that's the thing about it. A lot of times we all kind of go through some of the similar things and some of the same things, and most of the time we keep it in, so we don't get a chance to talk about it. And in that, it makes us feel like we're the only one going through it. But
Right.
have you ever been having a conversation with somebody or being amongst like a group of people, and people get to talking about certain things, whether it be relationship wise or children, children wise? People like, man, I'm dealing with that same thing, or what we're doing,
Same stuff.
providing a platform for men to talk about what they go through. If you've ever been in any of those situations and realize, man, I'm not the only one going through this. That's what this is designed for. We are out to have a platform where men can speak on issues that we just don't normally talk about. We want to shatter the silence of men and start a community of healing, love, and laughter. Like that's what all this is geared towards.
Yeah.
Because the Bible tells us laughter is medicine for our soul. So, and it also tells us that we
Hmm.
love is the greatest commandment of them all. And so we want to make sure that we are providing that for everybody, like for ourselves included. Like, sometimes you've had a long day, a hard week, hard month, or whatever you may have be going through. But, if you can get on here and open up about certain things, maybe you'll feel much better. So that's what this is geared towards.
Lift some of that weight up off you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so, for anybody who's on right now, again, we appreciate you. We want you to share this. share this with someone, share this with your brothers, your friends, your uncles, your mom, your aunties, whoever. We want you to share this because word of mouth is the greatest advertisement. And so, even when you all listen to the different topics that we talk about and conversations that we have and engage with us, let somebody else know about what we're talking about, because we have enough bad things going out about men and about how we
Come on.
think, and we got enough bad stuff. So, like, share the conversation and share it with others that we're actually doing something positive. We're promoting positive things.
Come
We're
on.
about building up, not tearing down. Like, that's what all this geared towards. I say
That's
that
right.
every week. Anybody can tear down. Like, anybody can, but it takes somebody with strategic planning, strategic mindset, a conscious mindset to say, you know what? Let me put this brick here. Let me put this brick here. Like the fireplace you got behind you, Carl. That didn't just get built by anybody. It took somebody who knew what they were doing. That said, okay, I understand how these bricks work. Where I can put them up to the point where not only are they up there, but they'll stay. And so you got to have the right tools. You got to have
They
the right
gonna stand
materials.
strong.
Yeah, and so that's why we are here. We want to share what God has given us, but we also want to open up the conversation because somebody in the chat may have something like some wisdom to share, and we go through and we read comments, whatever, and so somebody may have something that they need to either express, get off their heart, or something, some wisdom that all of us may need to hear. So
Hmm.
that is what this is geared towards.
Yeah.
Also, we want you all to not only share but we want you all to subscribe to us as well. We have a YouTube channel which we go live on. So we want you all to go to YouTube and type in "man" with three N's, "man me too," and you'll see all our videos from the past. And if you like, comment, and especially if you subscribe to us, hit that subscribe button, hit notification, hit all. I know, right? Hit all. And then anytime we go live, anytime we have any type of commercials or any type of anything concerning Man Me Too, you all will get notifications of it. And like I said, word of mouth is the best advertisement. So you can tell somebody else about it,
Yes,
they can tell
sir.
somebody else about it. And before you know, we're all around the world, not necessarily trying to gain money or we just want to make sure that we're spreading the light and spreading the conversation. So, we appreciate
Yes,
that.
sir.
Again, go to Man Me Too on YouTube and Man with three N's. I want you to make sure you do that because if you type in just Man Me Too, something else may come up. So Man with three N's, Man Me Too, and you can get what we need. Okay, yeah, he put it on the screen. Man with three N's. Also, if you all have any comments, we don't necessarily always get a chance to read every comment and be able to read it out loud. And sometimes we're just in conversation and we kind of miss some of the comments. But if you all have something that you really want to say to us or some comments, hey, you maybe even want to just encourage us, send us an email at man with three N's, me too, at gmail.com. If you all send that to us, any comments, any topics that you would like to hear us expound on or talk about or open the conversation on, if you all do that, then we will have them and we can read through them and we can provide you all with that as well. We got a good topic on tonight, but
Yes, sir.
before we get into our first segment of Would You Rather, I'm gonna let Carl go ahead. We have a special guest in the house tonight. Go ahead, Carl.
We got a we got a guest bro in the house tonight.
Yes,
This one of
sir.
my boys from high school. Uh, also football player, a man of God now. If you ever catch him on Facebook, he be preaching that word and giving you some encouragement, praying for the whole world. Okay, my man be out here. One of my good friends, Sean Scott. Uh, Welcome to the show, man.
Come on, welcome,
We
welcome.
appreciate you coming in
Yes,
and joining
sir.
Thank you,
us.
thank you, thank you. God bless and I love what God provides, and I love just good content, and I just love when people just put two good things together. Put two minds together and then make things happen. It's a blessing to see y'all do well, and continue to watch out for your success and most importantly, what God is doing in your lives.
Man,
Amen. That's
appreciate that.
awesome.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's awesome just to kind of be amongst people, and we may not all look the same, may not always think the same things, but we're connected in a way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm so
Hmm.
glad that we definitely can connect through, of course, Jesus Christ, and then we can connect through
That's that.
conversation. You know, 'cause, I mean,
Yeah.
he
Right.
is definitely all about him, and I definitely believe that he has given us tools and wisdom, and
Mm-hmm.
I think we're all willing to share that. So like we definitely appreciate you coming on and being a part of the conversation. Virtually, we're all in our own individual homes, but we
Yeah,
still connected.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like,
I'm just a time
I,
zone
But
away.
my man
I'm on the east.
Sean, yeah, that's what I was gonna say, Sean. You on the East Coast, ain't you, man?
oh
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Hour ahead, so it's 8:12 here. It's 7:12 there. So y'all got an extra hour to get stuff together.
Yeah.
I don't have that time.
Oh, oh yeah. It's already like there. Well, and what in that regard, we
Right.
definitely appreciate you being even willing to come on. Like, that's one good thing
Yes,
about this
sir.
pandemic. It has really shown us that we may not can be in the same building together all the time, but we can virtually still be together. And one thing I love about
Still
it
connect.
is we still connected. We still connected. And I definitely thank God that there's no social distancing when it comes to God. He's still with us, even
Right.
to the end of the world. He still will never leave us nor forsake us. And so I'm excited about that. And I will share that with anybody that needs to hear it. Because some people feel lonely in this season. Some people, feel like,
Yeah,
they can't make it in this season. But just to
yeah.
know, just to encourage you, I have to encourage myself. Like, God has not social distance from you. Like, He's still with you, So,
Come on. Come on.
man.
You better get on
Yeah,
here and preach, man.
yeah, yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Excited.
And what's up to everybody that's on and that's in the chat as well. So,
What's up, man?
all right. So we have some would you
Oh, I
rather
just want to say
questions.
this.
Okay, go ahead.
I just want everybody who watching, we want full participation tonight. So
Yes, sir.
if you jump in them chats, leave your answers to the questions. We want to have our
A
own town
real
hall
conversation.
meeting tonight. Yeah.
Yes,
That's
Okay.
sir.
right.
So and we can see all the comments and everything. So we gonna respond to it. So come on and join this conversation, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
So how these would you rather questions work? Just as Carl has stated, we want you all to engage too. It's not just three of us having a conversation, but it's all of us on the internet having a conversation. So when I state something, I want you all to put in the chat what you all would rather, and that's how that goes. And we're gonna get into this so we can get into our main topic for tonight. So are y'all ready over there? You ready all the way where you are? All right. Oh Lord, I got a fly in here. I must be pissed. Uh-oh.
Oh no! Don't
Oh
let them land
no.
on your head.
All right. All right. So the
Keep those
first
paws
would you
up. Keep
rather
those paws
question.
up.
You said what? Say that one more time.
Keep those paws up.
Right. All right. So the first would you rather question is, would you rather all your shirts be two sizes too big or two sizes too small?
I gotta be two sizes, man.
What?
Okay, we can go with one size. One size too big or one size too small. All your shirts,
Uh, everything.
everything.
Uh,
Man, man,
I don't want to
Either
be
one
out
of
here
y'all
you could
looking
can.
probably
like I
get
got
away with a too small. Like
It depends on
you
what it
could
I
is,
probably
don't want
get
to
huh?
be
away with
looking
a
like I
too
got
small, like
push
short sleeve.
push like marshmallows pushing out. I don't want to look like that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So I probably have to go with too big. It'll make me look like a
Okay.
weather balloon, but I think I'll go with that.
yeah. Oh man, that's hard. Cause when you got on that long sleeve shirt and that must stop like right here, that You be out here looking crazy, man.
It's too small.
They got to be
Yeah,
all.
I'm
I've been
gonna go
thinking
too
about it like
big too.
all shirts though, button ups,
Right.
Yeah.
polos,
Yeah, I'm gonna
tank
go too
tops.
big.
Too
I'm
too
gonna go too
big.
big. Too big,
Why?
man.
Yeah.
Why would you go with too big?
Cause man, I don't want to give out too much information, but like I see people. I see people in places. I'm not gonna say where, and they have on their button ups, and then they sleeve be stopping right here, but they arm be stretched out, and it don't be this extra, right? It just be stopping, and I be like, bro, where you get this shirt from? Why is it so?
Yeah.
I
From
can't be out
children's
there
play.
like that, man. I can't be out there like that, man. At least you could play it off and like roll it. You know how people roll their sleeves. At least you could
Uh,
do that. They just be out here, bro. They just be out here. I can't be like that, man. I got.
That's funny, man.
that is
That's
And
funny.
hilarious.
I went to the doctor today, and the man told me I was already slightly obese. I ain't listen, okay?
Oh man. Okay, so
Oh,
I got
come
to
on,
get
man.
in
You
the
my
can't be
chat,
like that.
somebody said too
right.
big. Tate says too big. Maurice says too small because you can always wear a jacket or wear a jacket over it. So
But where did your jacket gonna be too small?
Hey, when you start sweating, you got to take that jacket off. What's
you
going on when you
definitely right
start
about
sweating?
Oh
that.
yeah.
You definitely right about that. Ain't nothing worse than having
In
on
trouble.
a jacket that's hot and you can't take it off. Like, you in trouble
It's
for
gonna be
real.
it's
Looking
gonna
like
be
you
90
in the
degrees.
microwave.
It's gonna be 90 degrees. You got a jacket, right?
I would have to say too
Like you've been
small.
ducked in Crisco.
Really?
I'm gonna say too small just because y'all said too big.
What?
What?
No, but think about it. If it's a button up, if it's too
Nah, man.
small, okay.
Oh
So
no. Fam.
okay, so I guess because I'm a bigger man,
I
and
see.
when I was bigger, I really had to learn how to maneuver my clothes so I can feel good about it. So it may have been a shirt that was too small, but if I put a shirt on up under and left it open, then I could get away with it. So if it's a button up, I would just wear a shirt up under.
But your shirt that's under it gonna be too small.
Hey, what's gonna
Okay,
happen when it's
maybe
small? Because
maybe you're
you
right.
gotta sweat.
Maybe you're right. Um, Yeah, I think I would go with. No, I don't know. I'm conflicted on it now because
No, no,
you done
stick
brought
with
up
your
extra
answers.
points. Yeah, I'm gonna stick
Stick
with
with
my
your
answer.
answers.
I'm gonna say too small because t-shirt you can stretch. Uh, let's see.
I ain't doing it. I ain't doing
I
it.
can't do it.
Polo you
Be
can
able to do it.
stretch,
Mm-mm.
and yeah, I'm sticking with that. I'm sticking with that. What else y'all say out there? You said shirt, not jacket, right? All right, so yeah, I think most people will go with something that's too big because you can maneuver it more when it's too big. You can tuck things in, you can roll
Yeah,
things
yeah.
up,
You.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
but when it's just too tight, you can't breathe. And
you can't go. You only go for so far. When it's too big, you can put it in the wash machine, put it on hot, and it shrink down to a normal size.
that's true. If it's too small, ain't nothing you can do
Just saying.
about it. But all right,
That baby just gonna hug you.
all right. So y'all ready to move on? Somebody said put it in the dryer. Right, right.
Yep.
You're right. All right, so I think I'm gonna do two more because this other one is probably gonna go fast as well. Would you rather vacation in the mountains or on the beach?
Say it again.
Would you rather vacation in the mountains or on the mountain or on the beach?
Oh, mountains. Easy.
Really?
Okay.
I'm a big dude. Yeah, because if it's a certain time of year, you're on the mountains. Because when I went to Austria, it was in the middle of spring, almost summer. Like it was like 75 degrees. It had a nice cool breeze all the time. So it didn't regular. It stayed regular. If I don't
Okay.
want to be on the beach sweating, I can only take off so much.
You can take off that
Okay.
too
I
big
got.
shirt.
Hey.
Just saying.
That's a good perspective. I ain't know it'd be just cool up in the mountains all the time. But I mean, when you think of a vacation, you think of being on a sandy beach. Like
Okay.
I'm gonna have to go with a beach. I ain't got nothing against mountains, but when I picture a vacation, I picture
I'm glad.
sitting
I'm glad. I'm glad we got Sean on here because I knew you would say beach, but
right.
it's good to have a
Yeah.
different
I'm
perspective.
listen. I'm in the sand wiggling my toes. You know that's hey.
Hey, but it get hot out there on that beach too. I mean, you can get in the
Just
water, but
Where you gonna take off?
uh,
When it
you
get hot?
you just go in the water a little bit. Only waist deep though. I don't go no
What if
deeper
the
than that,
water's
bro.
hot?
Just waist deep.
yo go out there in the ocean.
In the ocean. You know what's in the ocean?
Hey, when we went on the cruise, we went to Mexico. I actually swam out there in the ocean. Like this
You,
is something different.
you swam.
I wasn't going too far now.
I'm going waist deep.
I mean, I went a little
See, I
further than that
live
because I could
I
actually
live
swim.
20 minutes, and when they get in that water, stingray, I said for me, no more water for me.
I'm out. If I see one thing, I'm out.
you know, um, it's funny though. Lately, I've been thinking about going on like a trip in like where some cabins are, or in the woods, maybe where some
Hmm.
stuff. Like I've been thinking about, how they had those shows and people get snowed in, or
Yeah,
like I've been thinking about like something like that. So I'm gonna have to actually go with the mountains. Yeah, I think I would go with the mountains just because I've experienced the beach, and of course I would like to experience the board, but I would like to experience something in the mountains, or on the
right.
mountaintop. I've been in the valley. I need to get to the mountains.
I could I can respect that. I can respect that. You know.
Yeah, so that's where I am with that. Um, Although, I went to Europe a couple of times,
In the
but
chat.
I've gone to Europe and we had to go up these mountains or either go up or go down the mountains, depending on where we were coming or going to get to the next destination. And so the lady that was driving us, it was so scary because it was like the back of the van kept going off the side of the mountain every time we would go around the curve. And
Hold up.
so man, it was the scariest thing in the world because it's like we already in Europe, so we out here where nobody knows where we are, and then, and then and then at that time we could only use Wi-Fi. I mean, unless you bought a calling card, so nobody
Yeah,
knows exactly where we are until we get to our hotel.
Oh no.
And so it's like every time and she's driving extremely fast, and I guess she's used to it because she lives there. And every time she's driving around like the curves, it's like the van is just like going off the side of the mountain. I'm like, oh my God. So majority of us is like, you know what, we're just gonna go to sleep. If we die, it'll be our sleep. And then we got to and we were going back, we got to the end of the mountain. It was like all cows that was blocking us. So we had to
Mhm.
sit there. They were like literally in the road. I don't know where they came from or who called them out there, but they were there. We had to sit there until they moved, of course. So yeah, I have
Had to
my
watch the cows
experiences
cross.
with the mountains. I just haven't gone in the mountains, So yeah, I would like
yeah,
to
it's nice.
experience that.
It,
All right, some people saying mountains. Um, some people
Oh
say
yeah.
take
We
I'm
got a few beach.
splashing water on my chest if I get hot. I know that's right. I don't know. I like the water too, so that I could kind of go for a beach atmosphere as well. Because I love the water, and I was kind of discouraged this past summer because of what we're in, the pandemic and with the coronavirus going around, I did not get a chance to go swimming this summer, and that's like one of my favorite activities to do. So yeah, I'm like, dang, but I'm still alive, so I'm good. I'm good. I would have rather that than
Right.
be extremely sick or have died because I'm going swimming anyway. So all right, so let's move on.
Right.
This is the last one. Would you rather sleepwalk every night or sleep talk every night? Or talk in your sleep, rather. Now, this one you got to think about.
No, I already got my answer.
Would you rather
I gotta make sure my wife knows.
Would you
I'd
rather
rather walk.
walk in your sleep every night
Really?
or talk in your sleep every night? You say you rather
Only
do
reason
what?
why I say we're all married. I rather walk. Only reason because we're all married men. Like you know how sometimes, like as being a married, like women have crazy dreams, and they wake up and like they feel like you cheating on them, something like that. They'll hit you or whatever, wake you up. I had that happen, and like, and I know if I say something wild in my dream, I'm gonna get woken up, and we have a long
But
conversation.
if you out walking around in the middle of the night, that's gonna give her more suspicion to be like, what you out doing? But I'm gonna say,
Hey, I'd rather her be suspicious than her actually hear me say, well, I'm thinking about it in my sleep. Because I'm asleep, I can't even control that. So
I'm gonna say talk because me and my wife can have a conversation. She be talking at night every night. I be hearing her have a whole conversation with herself.
You know what? Your wife definitely does talk in her sleep. She definitely does. There's been a couple times we've
I
been
might as
over
well
there.
join her. If she just talking.
Yeah, no. That's gonna create more problems though, because if she know what you said, then you didn't remember what you said. She gonna be like, "You said you was gonna buy me this." And you like, "Hold on, I ain't say that." You did. You was talking in your
Yeah.
sleep. So.
She not gonna know because she be talking in her sleep and have no idea what she
No
saying.
idea what she
Like,
But
said.
it only takes one time.
She's a woman. She's gonna
It only
remember
takes
what you said, even if she can't remember what she said, she gonna remember what you said. That's the
she gonna
origin of a
remember my
woman. They know
words and not
exactly
hers.
what we said. They're like, now, do you remember
Yeah,
what you
every
said?
time.
No, but
Remember
I heard what
everything
you
we
said.
say. Verbatim, every time.
Verbatim.
That's
I
funny.
mean, they have it scripted. It's scripted.
Oh, you don't remember nothing you said, but you got my whole transcript. You didn't transcribed every word I said, huh? That's funny. What you gonna do, Shooter?
I would definitely rather walk in my sleep. Tate said he rather talk in sleep because he don't
Oh
want to
wow.
risk no injury. So I kind of understand that, but I'd rather walk in my sleep. I don't want nobody talking about. And think about it, you may not necessarily be asleep around just your wife. Like say you sitting on the couch and everybody over, you fall asleep, and you get to talking. You may say something about somebody that's there that you that you didn't
Well,
mean to say. You're like, man, this person really get on my nerves. Like they all.
but but you ain't gonna be able to control where you walking. You just out here walking around, man. Like
You keep the
Hey,
doors
you
as
get
long
locked.
the
as we indoors, they locked. We good.
Yeah. I had to put a lock on the inside with a key so I can, and then I hide the key before I go to sleep, so I don't remember where the key is. So I'm staying at least in the house. I may break my neck in the house,
man,
but you won't have me on
man.
tape talking. And then I think I
I'm
probably
I'm
would
a
go
talker.
viral because somebody would definitely record me talking in my sleep, put me on the internet. So
Oh, I thought you. I'll be recording you walking in your sleep. Like, what is this man doing?
oh man, yeah, that'll go viral too. Man, that's hilarious. Okay, so I'm gonna stop right there for tonight because we got some stuff to get into. But we appreciate you all for your comments. As far as the would you rather, but I'm gonna hand it over to Carl and we're gonna get into our topic for tonight.
All right, tonight we're gonna dig in a little bit because, as we all know, the election is less than a week away. What is it? Tuesday, right?
Five, yeah, 5 days or
Yeah.
less.
So we've heard all these debates and the millions of commercials and all the stuff that they just throw out all these talking points, man. And I just got like one day was sitting at work and was like, bro, what does this stuff really mean to people? Like you can sit up and say, oh, I want to get rid of healthcare or Obamacare. The economy's doing this and the economy doing that. And uh, what about the violent criminals? But I just want to dig in and know what does these issues mean to you personally? Like when they talk about uh, pro-life and pro-choice, how does that affect us on a personal level instead of just a talking point to aim at a certain demographic to get a vote? Like, because all of this stuff is so politicized that we just get lost in words. I feel like it's just a bunch of words being thrown around, and I just want to make this more personal, like because we take out a lot of the human aspect, and we start it causes division to where like I can see my brother right across the street hurting and not care about him because he may be on the blue team and I'm on the red team. Like I feel like that's
Mm.
putting our nation in such a sad place because we're supposed to be looked at as like the most powerful nation in the world. Like, why can't we have free healthcare? Like, not saying that not saying that I'm even for that, but I'm just saying like if we're the top of the top, we're the top of the food chain. That's what they say. Like, there should be enough to do whatever it is that we want to do. And I feel like the divide between oh you red or you blue, you Democrat, you Republican, you like that's only holding us back. And if we could just bring back
Mm.
that human that human aspect, like yeah, I might be a Democrat, you might be a Republican. I should still love you. I should still care about you as my
And your
brother or
well-being.
sister. And I
Yep,
yeah, and I should still want the best for you, no matter what that means. And I feel like the just the fact that we have a two-party system automatically puts a rip in the fabric of America. It's a us and it's a them. But I feel like if we could just put that human factor back into it, then it could change a lot of things because a lot of stuff like that they talk about us as Christians, even if they don't put that stuff in place, we should still have a core beliefs that if we see my brother hurting, that's my brother. I'm gonna do what I can to help him, no matter what he believes, no matter what team
Mhm.
he's on, no matter what. Like, and if because I mean I know there's other religions in this nation, but if you listen to the big talking heads, what do they say? God bless America. This is a Christian nation. Like that's just rhetoric. Like they're not living and not saying that I'm looking to them to even live that, but I'm just saying like don't fake it. Let's be what we talk. So um I got a list of like what they marked as like the most the top issues in the election, and I just want to know what's bringing you to the polls this year, and like what, and if it's something that I don't say, like you can bring that up too, because this isn't a, the entire list, but like what's bringing you to the poll, and what does that mean to you personally? So um,
Mm.
like the number one issue right now in America is the economy.
Okay.
So uh, so that I got like a list of, I guess it's like the 13 top. So number one is the economy. Number two is healthcare. Coronavirus is number three. Uh, Violent crime is number four. Uh, Trade and tariffs is number five. Gun rights is number six. Race and ethnic equality is number seven. Immigration is number eight. Economic equality is number nine. Um, Climate change is number 10. Abortion rights is 11. Free college and student debt. Okay, I'm for that right there now. Come on
Yeah,
now. Is
that
that
should
number
have been
12?
further up the
That's
list.
too long.
That should be number
That's
one.
too low on the list right
Right,
there.
right.
Right. And the last one I got is childcare. So
Oh, okay.
I kind of looked into a lot of them, and a lot of them are just like talking points. But what issue is really bringing you to the polls today or
Mm.
Tuesday when you? But I mean, that's been millions of people already voted already. So like,
Mhm.
what's important to you this election, and what does that mean to you personally in your own life is what I want to know. So um, I don't know who want to kick it off.
We'll let our guest go first. Go ahead. Say what's on your heart
Oh, me?
on this topic. Yes,
Me?
sir. Give it up for Sean Scott,
Oh.
everybody.
For all, like, it's I think we've heard a lot of these points. I think since we been adults, so probably for the last 15 really of talking points. And I feel like, honestly, I feel like we go in an election and we go through this same cycle over and over again with these talking points. And after the election, nothing happens with these talking points. So,
Mm.
Right,
it gets to a point
that's
where,
facts.
so, we vote, well, people voted for Obama because they wanted hope, and did we get some of it? And then when people voted for Trump because they was looking for hope too, on the other end of the spectrum, did they get that? And so we're in a cycle where it's blue versus red. Well, you're a libertard, or you a redneck, Republican. You think this way, think that way, and and honestly, neither side is really for anyone in
Mm.
this country. We have people that sit in Congress, like we was talking about earlier, before we went live, for 40, 50 years. I think it was one guy that literally died during a congressional meeting, and he was in there for like 60 years.
Oh wow.
So I feel like at
Wow.
some point, there's no change happening. I mean, this two-party system is not working. There has to be a another party. There has to be something different. We need another party, especially for Christians or people of faith. We need a different party entirely that fits
Mm.
our needs and our values. Because obviously, what we have going on, people are just picking one thing to fit the whole criteria, and which the character doesn't match who match the value of what that
Sir.
person is. So
Yes,
Come
so
on.
you
sir.
get with the character of a person, the character, we kind of put that on the broad side, but when it happens, we look at the character of the person before we look at oh, he's a great person, all this kind of things. I just feel like we need something different. I mean, right now, it's nothing's
Yeah.
working. And all the red and blue thing is all is causing divide and causing divisiveness, and it's causing confusion and anger. We need something different because right now nothing's working.
I agree with you 100%. Like we definitely need something different. We need some different ways of going about things, or coming, because like all the things that you read off, I'm sure all of those things besides coronavirus and stuff like that have been the same stuff that we've been dealing with for however many years now. And like some of the
Yep.
stuff, I don't even understand why they're still as big as they are, but they are. And it's like obviously something in there is not working. Like we have to figure out something different. And it's funny that you Sean, you talked about character. That was something I wrote down in my notes, and it was just like at this point, I think as far as the election, or in just our society period of how things have been functioning, it has always been ability over character. And
Mm-hmm.
what is this person able to do? Um, how can this person help us or help something within what we need done? Like what we have now, Trump. They've been focused more on the economy than actually serving people. So it's like whatever it
Right.
takes to build the economy. It's like even during the debate when he talked, it was like all no matter what they asked him, he stemmed it back to what he did for the economy. Like it's like
Yeah.
that's all good and all. It didn't matter what they asked him. It's like that was like his go-to thing, and I understand in a sense because he's a businessman. Go ahead, Carl. Were you finna say something?
I I just want to say this about I just want to say this about the debate. Okay, they might as well just stop having the debates because this
Pointless.
lady could say a full like baby could understand this question. They totally
They
disregard
talk
the
around it.
question and just talk around.
Most definitely.
What is why are we here if you're
That's
not gonna answer
politics,
the
sir.
question?
That I agree with
It's
you. And I think it would be so much
politics.
Why?
easier. I think it would be so much easier if they just answer the question. But I think that's a part of politics where they teach you to kind of talk around the subject, especially if you don't want to really answer the question. You kind of just talk around it or go into something totally different. Because Pence did it a whole lot. And I'm like, hold on, that's not even. Well, Kamala, she did it a couple times
Piss
too.
didn't
But
answer one
he didn't answer
question.
none of the questions. It was like at least she
Always,
had a plan. She had a
always
plan
worry
at
about that fly on
least.
his head.
He didn't
And
answer
when
one
that
question.
and when that happened, that fly came on it. Like it was like completely over at that point because I don't think
Yeah,
anybody was
It's over.
focused
showed
on anything that he was saying after that because everybody of course was focused on the fly. But it's just like not even in just politics in our world. Period. We have been focused
Yeah.
more on ability than character in our businesses, in our churches, ministries, and jobs. As long as this
Mm-hmm.
person can fulfill the job that I need them to do, then their character doesn't really matter at that point. It doesn't matter how this person live, how integral they are, even if they show up late or on time, or who they mess with, or any of those things don't matter as long as they're able to do what we need them to do. And I think that's a problem. Of that's how we function. And so it's like it's not a problem until it affects us personally or it affects our brand or our business.
financially.
Then,
Yep.
for the longest, people have been saying stuff about R. Kelly. You know what I'm saying? We still was bumping his music. We were still, and
Yep.
it's like now
Yep.
We
because
heard
how
all the
everything
rumors.
has
We
we
heard
heard
all the
For
all
rumors.
the
years.
rumors. It didn't just happen in 2016.
We
Like
gave
this go all the way
This
back to the
move.
90s.
we gave him a pass.
We gave him a pass because he
We
was
gave him a
able to
pass
drop some
for
feel good
years.
music. And it's like now we go back and
Years.
we listen to it and we're disgusted because everything he wrote about, he was writing for an underage child.
What he
You know what I'm
did.
saying? But because of his ability to woo us over with good music, whether it be
Yep.
the nasty songs or I Believe I Can Fly or those encouraging songs, he was always able to manipulate us
Yep.
with music. Anytime something came up, he dropped a good song and everybody dancing to it, everybody singing to it. And
Drop
it's
a
like
good
that
Yep.
song.
that
Step.
has happened so much in our world in every aspect of the world. It's like this is how we have Trump in the office because, first of all, he was not a politician. So, you know what I'm saying? So, he came in pretty much as an entertainer. He came in as a businessman. So, it's like we
Yep.
wonder why anytime anything's asked of him, he responds with something what we consider to be ignorant. But it's like they looked at his ability over his character. You know, it
Yeah.
just didn't make sense. Trump was accused of rape, sexual assault, sexual harassment, including non-consensual kissing or groping. He even said, "I grabbed him by the pee."
Great.
Like that's what he said. Obama would have
On
never gotten away with
Yeah.
anything.
on tape.
And all of this stuff has been
On
accused for at least
tape.
25 women or more. But Obama would have never gotten away with any of
No,
those things.
on the age.
Yo, listen, Obama got in trouble for wearing a tan suit. Okay? You remember this man wore a tan suit and
I
how bad the people
remember.
talked about?
I
Bruh.
remember that. But yet we have our current president has sexual assault and sexual harassment and all these types of things. This is because he had the ability to bring up the economy and we didn't look at his character. We didn't care about his character until it started to affect people even in his camp. Then people start to look like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, this is literally affecting us. Now this is affecting the brand. This is affecting how we operate. So maybe we need to look at, okay, this man is actually doing this, and we're actually doing that, and we function like that so much in the world. Period. And I just think that's one of the things that need to change. Like it shouldn't be ability over character. Like we need to put the character back
Character,
in the
right.
right place, and that should be. And you know, when you go to a job, when you go on a job interview, it's more about the ability. But as long as this person doesn't bring our company a bad name, or sometimes it can, and they just won't even look at it or overlook at it because this person can bring us money. This person can like that shouldn't be
Yep.
the end all be all. Like character has to play a part in there somewhere. The church people always say,
As
your character will keep you in that place that your gift is
Yeah.
taking you. And so, we don't want our gifting and our ability to be so strong that it takes us somewhere and then our character knocks us out. Because once you get on those platforms and once you get to that level, they're looking at everything you do. You know what I'm saying? And
It's true.
so even the things
you
that
gonna get
you've done
exposed.
over the
Yeah.
years, you're gonna get exposed. And that's to any of us. To the smallest person out here that may want to start a business, we have to watch what we put on social media. We have to watch what we say, what
Yes.
we engage in, all of those types of things. Because when you get to those platforms, you're going to get exposed. Look at Kevin Hart. They went back and found something 10 years on what he said, and that was to hold him back
10
from
years
hosting
ago.
Oscars. 10 years ago. And we all evolve, we all grow. We have to be careful of those things. But at the same time, we can't allow our ability or our gifting to over exceed what our character is. Like, that's
Mm-hmm.
just one of my biggest issues with what's going on now. And so it's like now we're to the point where we're not even looking at ability anymore. We just want him out of there because of his character.
Yeah.
And that's happening so much in today's time. As long as you can sing the way I need you to do, as long as you can preach the way I need you to preach, as long as you can do whatever it is, play whatever it is, count the money, whatever it is you do, in whatever it is, as long as you can do that, that's fine. But as soon as you make a mistake or you do something wrong, now we got to cancel you because it doesn't affect the business, it doesn't affect
It
the
affect
brand,
it affect
and
your
it's like
pockets.
no, we need to be looking at character before we hire these people. We need to look at character
Yes.
before we put these people in position. And I think that's
That's it.
what would stop us from all of the bad things. No, I didn't agree with everything that Obama, all his policies. But one thing
That's
I could agree with was his character. You know what I'm saying? I could agree with how, at least how it was perceived anyway, of how he treated his wife, how he was with his children. How they tried so many things they tried to come up with so many different things on him, but they could never find anything. Like you said, that was the biggest thing that they could do was talk about a tan suit he wore because that's not what politicians usually wear. Like that's crazy. We're more focused on that type of stuff than actual character, and that's one of my biggest issues.
Yeah. So, if we just going off the issues, but that's kind of hard in this election because the man who's already sitting in that seat has done so much disrespectful stuff for our people and the representation of
Right.
America. It's like how can you put your like confidence in this man leading this country with what he's done? Like he may have done great things for the economy, uh, but it's just certain things that he does that, like, if anybody in this nation is going to be politically correct, it should be the president.
Exactly. And
Most
he's the
definitely.
total opposite.
And
The
I
total opposite.
the talk and he runs on that card that I'm not a politician and gets away with that. But we need that. We need some resemblance of that in that position, right? Like you can't run around with like all the bad people of every bad nation in the world and make excuses for them and then come back here and make excuses for this side because oh there's good people on both sides when you see one party chanting racial slurs and another party just protesting and like you can't take a stance on white supremacy like
Mhm.
that that alone is scary because I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying we going back to like Nazi Germany, but I'm sure it started somewhere, right? Like the ball got rolling with someone allowing these things to happen. Like,
Right.
oh, he don't really he don't really mean everybody should be blonde hair, blue eyed. He didn't really mean that. Like I'm sure that's how it started. Like, and for this man to be like making excuses for uh, the people in the country who are so close-minded and think that there's still a difference between a group of people because of the color of their skin. Like, and you play to that crowd. Like,
Right.
that's scary. That's scary considering America is still America. Like we like they say we've
Yep.
come far, but we really
We really
haven't.
haven't.
We really ain't made it. We really ain't made it that far. And for you to play to that crowd is playing with a freaking ticking time bomb, bro. You just hashing up old stuff and just riling these people up again to cause a greater divide. So yes, okay, the economy was probably doing good. Who knows if it was him or if it was a trickle down from the previous administration.
That's true. That is
Uh,
very true.
but
Could be.
when it comes to the race problems and the inequities in this nation, like I don't feel like he takes a strong enough stance, or he does take a stand. It's just a wrong one.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
him him playing around with that scares me.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like he went into office, like you just said, talking about the economy part. It's like all of those different things you just read off. He only focused on that. Like we have all these
Mm.
other issues that need to, be taken care of. But like you said, either he's going to take a stand, he's going to be bold about it, and he going to stand on that, or he doesn't even deal with it at all. Like we talked about earlier, we've been dealing with the same stuff for the longest. Like, who's going to make a change? Who's going to make a difference? Who's going to step in there and say, you know what, this has been happening for, and I know it can't happen in 1 year, maybe 2 years, but you've been in office for 4 years, sir. And I'm not saying everything has to just drastically change or just change over a period of time, but even the way you approach situations are offensive. You show no sympathy or empathy. Like literally
None.
200 some thousand people have died from coronavirus. And yet every time
Yeah.
they even talk to you about it, you're downplaying it. Oh, it's not that big of a deal. Don't even let it ruin your life. Even after so-called allegedly having coronavirus, you still open up your mouth and say, "Don't let it control your life. It's not that big of a
But
deal." But
you
people,
get
family members have died. Like
you
that.
getting
That.
flown to the best doctors, getting the best treatments. Like
Right.
it's
Right.
people out here
Yeah,
who have to make a choice. Am I going to go to the hospital, or because I know a
I
bill's
can't
coming from
afford
that,
it.
or am I
it's
going
Right.
to
true.
eat?
That's true. That's
Yes.
the real thing. Yeah, that's real. You gotta make
And
that
it's
And
like,
to
choice.
how can you
say
downplay that?
and to downplay it,
Or do I want to go take that
Yeah,
chance?
right?
how do you do that when you're privileged? But that's what we see all the time, When you're privileged in a certain area, you kind of we talked about that a couple episodes ago. You have tunnel vision. You only see what's around you, and
That's
because
true.
you're used to functioning with all of your money, with all of your glory, with all of your power, you don't see it as a big issue. To
You're
okay, well, I have
afforded
Tunnel
this.
vision.
you're
I can I
afforded
can I can go to the hospital and do
you're
whatever. Like
afforded the
no, right?
uh-huh. You're afforded
Yeah.
the
And
opportunity to not take off your blinders. Not
exactly,
everybody is
I think that's
fortunate
what's
enough.
everybody don't have that. And and that's the thing. Like if he would just show some type of empathy, even because I don't know whether he actually had it or not. I really don't care. But if he did really have it, if he would have showed a little more empathy with it, and said, you know what, guys, I downplayed this at first. I've experienced it now, and this is a serious thing. You know,
it
even
is.
if he did go to the hospital and use his privilege, it would have came off better, and he probably would have gained more votes
Yeah,
because
you
okay,
probably
now we
would
can
have.
understand. He's experienced this, and now he understands what we've been going through. I would understand it from like that, but he didn't present it like that at all. So
Okay,
I think I think I think
go ahead,
what's
Sean.
really amazing to me in this whole process, because we have a lot of, Christians again, that's a wonderful thing that are voting for Trump. Again, that's their choice. They're just voting because of he's pro-choice. And my
right,
thing with that, which is
Mhm.
again, that's fine. But my thing is be pro be pro choice with everything you do, or pro life, excuse me, pro life with everything you do. Then be pro life with people out of the womb. Be pro life with people are struggling for their job and make ends meet. Be pro life the person that gets
yes,
shut
sir,
down for no apparent
yes,
reason.
sir,
Pro life people are really dealing with whether to go to work or not to go to work, and they feel like they got COVID or something. Like we're in a time like just be Christians, be level headed, and let's be honest right now. We have a Christian faith that's over 2,000 years old, and we make it a blue or a red issue. So we're
yes,
saying our
sir.
faith
It cannot
is in America
too
supersedes
too
everything that has
old.
happened. It's happened in the ancient history. So we have to be very very careful as Christians. Like me, I gotta check myself. Like when we get on these topics, is like I don't want to be in a sense like I don't want to be pro American this or pro American that. Like we these a lot of these topics the world is dealing with. The world is dealing with coronavirus. The world is dealing with economic issues. The world is dealing with trying to make ends meet just as well as we are. Like I think we just sometimes we make everything Americanized to the
Not
point where
America.
we can't. Again, it's that tunnel vision thing again that we can't see
You
nothing
got
else
those
but us
blinders on.
because we say God bless America. We say God has blessed America. We have great resources here. We have great resources all over. Should be saying God bless the world because we know that coronavirus is really affecting a lot of places like Italy and it's affecting parts of Africa. It's affecting a lot of other places that we don't have the like the stuff that we have here. So it's really
Mhm.
I think honestly, to be honest, I was thinking about the whole time. I think it's a kingdom issue. I think a lot of the issues that that was on that sheet they eating, it's a church issue. Like our
Mm.
church should be doing a lot of these things that like we're dealing with right now. The church should be stepping up. We have the most money. on the western side of the world, especially with churches and all these, they have those collection plates. You know what I'm talking about. They have these plates and they have all these things, there, and it's not given back out to the community. If we want
Mm.
true change, it's going to come from the church. It's not going to come through government. It's not going to come from the president. It's not going to come from the White House. It's going to come from each individual, like we saw Acts 2, that we're going to change. We're going to change where we're at. And we're going to see change because we're all connected by the glory of God, whether red, blue, bird, purple, white, whatever color you are. We're trusting God, whether we believe or not believe certain things, it doesn't matter, because our goal is another kingdom. It is another government. It's in heaven. So
Yep.
I think a lot of stuff we're dealing with, I think it's going to come a time that as Christians, and I don't want to, I've been thinking about this a lot. I think we're going to persecution, because we're always, Christianity has been dwindled down to the point where we're going to really have to step in. A lot of these things we're going to have to stop believing, worrying about the president, all this kind of stuff. We're going to have to start getting on our hands and knees and getting dirty.
Yes, sir. I agree with that 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we
For sure.
definitely. One thing we can't do is just put all the blame on a certain party or certain people. Like, we have a responsibility in there as well, and we really can't complain about other people not doing it if we're not doing our job. So I definitely agree with you 100%.
Yep.
Anybody else have anything to say about that?
Okay, so I I was uh brought up like a little survey, and they did like a survey of Biden supporters and Trump supporters, and this kind of explains why tr- Trump like bigs certain stuff up and basically kicks stuff on the curb like coronavirus, because in the survey, coronavirus only uh only 39% of Trump supporters think that coronavirus is a big issue. 82% of Biden supporters think it's a big issue.
Mm.
So
Mm.
so that even goes back to they don't care about this stuff. Like, this is all a ploy just to get a vote. So if you know that the people who are looking at you, who are potentially going to vote for you, they don't think coronavirus is a big deal, you're not gonna blow that up. You're not gonna show empathy to the 200 something thousand people who died, because you know your supporters are basically people who don't believe in coronavirus, which I don't know how that's possible. But
I don't know how that's possible. Like,
Wow.
but and
you know
that was one of my questions
your
when he
support.
got it. That was one of my questions when he got coronavirus. I was like, and he, talked so bad about
Stop
wearing the
putting
mask.
coronavirus in quotes, man.
Allegedly, but yeah, when he got it, I was like, okay, so he's talked so bad about wearing his mask. He's talked so down on coronavirus, COVID-19. Now that he has it, do they believe in wearing the mask now, or do? And it's like, it's crazy how the power of
No,
influence works, because he had the
Yeah.
power to influence them to not believe in something that is real, that has literally taken people out.
that is so real.
And so it's like, now that he has it, do they believe in it now? Like, it was like what is their mindset with it? But when he came out and was like, "Oh, don't let it control your life," I'm like, "Oh God," Here we go with this. But yeah,
He got to play to his
definitely agree.
crowd, man. That's all it is.
That's crazy.
So that's a really good point though, because
Like, if you look at because if you look at this survey, like, you see why he makes certain moves, like why he talks so much about the wall, building a wall and keeping people out, because 61% of his supporters think that's a big issue, when 46% of Biden people don't think it's a big issue. Economic inequality, which we all know is true. Well, I'm not gonna say we all, because there's people who has blinders on, right? So
Yeah.
we know that wealth hasn't been spread equally in this nation. Those of us who know. But his support, only 11% of his supporters think that no, I'm sorry, 28% of his supporters think that economic inequality is important.
Wow.
28% of America
Wow.
apparently believe that you should pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. But we were never given boots. So
That's
Sir.
deep.
that's a whole different
Ooh,
that's a
Ooh.
whole
that's
different story.
whole other story.
I ain't
That's
got
a
no
whole
strap.
different story.
That'll
I'm
take a
out here
You
with
small
ain't
tree out
sandals
even
my
got
on.
victory.
boots. What you
Man, you said something when you said that.
I ain't even got no boots. What you talking about, man? So, I mean, when you
They tell us
when
to
you
pull
see it
ourselves up
laid
by
out
something we
like
don't
this,
even have.
Mm.
so
My God.
you kind of understand why he makes the moves he makes. So yeah, and I don't what I don't understand is how he got tied into the Christianity team. Like, um,
It's
nothing about Trump to me says Christian, believer of
Or
Christ.
maybe when he went and
Nothing.
said 2 Corinthians.
Exactly. My point. Like, if you don't even know how to properly say a book of the Bible,
Or maybe when he
how
took a
then do
picture with the
people
Bible.
believe?
2 Corinthians.
Oh, you mean before he gassed all them people outside to get them out the way to get to the church?
I
What about that
sir.
says Christ like? What about that?
What when he was invited to Liberty University to give a speech, that's when the sway of the evangelical vote going towards his favor.
Why though?
Wow.
Is what I want to know. How? Okay,
That's a
so
that's a
Liberty
whole nother subject, man. That's a whole nother subject because
is Liberty
it gets deep.
University. Wait,
They're a
wait.
Southern
Is Liberty University? Okay, there's Southern Baptist Church. I mean,
and
university.
so the founder of Liberty University, man, it can go so deep. Basically,
No, no, go. I want you to go here.
you want to go deep? You want to go deep?
Yeah, go there. Go there.
Okay. So the founder of Liberty University, we're going way back. We're going back probably, let's say, right. I would say in early '70s. It was when Roe versus Wade got put out. This guy named Paul Wyrick. I don't know. Have you heard that name before?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Paul Warwick, have you heard the name? So basically, he was a proponent. He was trying to get the Christian vote. He was a big guy that was trying to
Mm-hmm.
get the Christian vote in any kind of way possible, because he was big on states' rights, which back then was segregation. You follow me?
Mm.
And the founder of Liberty University was to have that concept of state rights with segregation, is trying to keep everyone separate. So coming in here, when Roe versus Wade got passed, I think it was '73. It didn't get picked up for the majority of the Christians until '79, with which Paul Wyrick and the founder of Liberty University was on the topic of abortion. So now that's where abortion is come to the head. Is the big figure now because of those two guys plus the other two people to get the Christian vote, and which brought in Reagan and brought all people as well.
Mm.
So when it comes to Trump originally he was a proponent for I don't know, a lot of people know this, for gay rights. He was big on gay rights. He changed view when he became for elected for president, and he adopted what he was like. I'm a big thing on abortion. So what's your abortion? That brought the founder of Liberty University, his son, brought them to Liberty University to have a talk, and that's where we are now. This is a little bit of
So
background history, mess.
I kind of want to dig in on Liberty. I know this is not about Liberty, but Liberty fought against desegregation, right? Like they were basically a segregated Christian university who like they own like when they started allowing black men to come to their university, the black men had to be married because they didn't want the black men coming to like mingle with the white women of the school. So for a long so how does a Christian university fight against equality for all men?
It gets deep. It's deep.
It sure does.
Deep.
It sure does.
So at that point, are you more of an American than you are a Christian?
That's where your idol is, yeah.
So is America your God or is Jesus your God?
Ooh, or you can say it's the flag.
Jesus. This can definitely go to a whole nother conversation, like, because it's like where we putting our.
But that's what we're doing on the. Everybody might not be Liberty University, but those people who still think like that and they call themselves Christians, you're basically talking out of both sides of your head. Like you're preaching Christ or your version of Christ, but you live I don't really care about this person because he doesn't look like me. Like that's not the Bible. That's not Jesus.
Well, you got to realize people preach certain things out of the Bible, what they want to expound on. Like, they can go back to slavery. Like, if we were reading scriptures like the greatest commandment is love, and like, how could you have read that back then? And I'm sure it was there, and had slaves. But people do it now. They preach certain things out of the Bible that's appealing for
manipulate
them now, or that's
manipulate the
definitely. Yep. And so that's exactly what they do. They're gonna only push certain things that's in the scriptures. They're not gonna rightly divide the word of truth and talk about everything. Like it's certain churches won't even talk about hell or heaven. Like it's like, oh, we won't even talk about that. We'll just deal with, God loves everybody and like. So it's definitely a way to. Yeah, and not even just that. It's a whole list of things that people won't talk about, and either it's because they don't really have the right answers for them, or they just don't want to deal with it for real. They don't want to deal with it flat-footed. And have to implement those.
They're letting their thoughts supersede God's commandments.
Exactly.
And like you done built up a whole new God somewhere. Like because there's no way you can read this plain text that even a child can understand and still think it's right for you to treat your fellow brother different because he has different skin. No way.
Sir.
And the scary part is a lot of stuff we're dealing with right now with racial relations, they were dealing with in the time of slavery as well. Between the abolitionists and the people that wanted to own slaves. And the church, excuse me. They're still dealing with the same. Nothing's new under the sun. Like they're still dealing with the same issues. And the scary part, a lot of the people that think now, they would be owning slaves back then.
Man,
Yeah.
I agree. That is definitely that's real history.
And we know, and being real, we know people.
Even
We all know. Well, just be 100%. We all know.
we-
I don't have to go
Yeah.
no further than that.
yes, we do.
Yeah, Carl, that's how people can
But
preach one thing or say they're followers of Jesus Christ, but treat people unfairly. Like where did you see him do that at? Like where did you read that in the Bible?
yeah.
He walked amongst them and realized they were not his kind, so he we don't read that nowhere in there. So but like I said, people know
Or
how to manipulate
he,
things, or
he
they know
built
how
a
to not
wall.
talk about certain things. Right. Jesus built a wall to keep away from the people that were not like him. Like it don't say that nowhere. But that
Nah,
goes back to that
I
ability
mean,
over.
if I can recall, Jesus did like the opposite, because like the disciples used to
He
be like,
yeah.
did.
Jesus, why you talking to
Every,
them? We don't even deal with them. And Jesus like, bro,
yeah.
don't listen, I am the son. Like, come on, man. He did the exact opposite of what you as a Christian are doing.
But you got to realize that through the different generations of the people in the Bible, they had developed this the way of this is how we do things, and we're going to follow, of course, the Old Testament and the law, and we're going to follow that. And so when anybody came and did something anything contrary to that, they were like, "What are you doing? This is not this is not how we operate." Look at David when he was dancing with the Commodores. His wife looked at him like, "Why are you down there with them? Like
I
you
was
like
Right.
wow.
kings didn't operate like that. But something different
Nah.
transpired. He realized he had the presence of God with him. He realized, he had something other, he had something different. And so he operated differently and got persecuted because of it. Like, why are you down there with them? And so that's what happens in today's time as well.
That that is
And
it in a nutshell.
that's why that's where tradition comes from. Like that's how
Mm.
you can do what your grandmother did, your grandfather did, your great grandfather did, and it goes along the line. And sometimes we don't even understand where it came from. You know what I'm saying?
But
Like it's a
my problem is they put it in the name of the Lord. Okay, just do your dirty stuff and leave God out of
called
it.
manipulation and power. People know exactly where the power is held. That's just like, okay, say Carl, say your son, um, he tells his brother, go wash the dishes. Is he gonna go wash the dishes because he told him to do it? But if he say, Dad said you gotta wash the dishes, he knows where that
Daddy
power
said
is.
it.
Yeah.
So he gonna say that to get him to go
God
do it.
dog.
And that's the same thing people
Most
do.
definitely.
In the name of the Lord, in the name of God, like that's what they do. And it manipulates and controls people, and it gets them to do. That's why the Bible tells us we got to study to show that ourselves approved. Like, we got to study that thing for us, because a lot of times, even in the church, we've really just gone off of what we heard other people say and
Right.
haven't really studied it for ourselves. And
Oh
once you
Lord.
study that for yourself and you get an understanding of it, and you rightly divide the word of truth, and you get a revelation for yourself from God, you're like, hold on, that
Wait
was
a
totally out
minute.
of context.
Right.
That was said
Right.
to me, and that's not even the context of what was going on here. Like, so
It's,
that's what has happened in our world. That's what's happened in the generation after generation. And we do things because we've heard them, and we like, and we actually, have you ever did something out of tradition and then you read it or you study it and you be like, hold on, that's not what that was even about.
That's
And
not even what. Yeah.
it's called manipulation and control.
mm.
And
Wow.
that's exactly how our world is being ran right now, through manipulation and control and power of
Power
influence. I
belongs to
know I have, whew, my Lord. So
So
yeah,
okay. yeah.
Oh, I thought you were getting ready to say
I
something.
mean, we could probably talk about this for years. Okay,
We
so
definitely can.
but but um, this is my plea through all of this stuff. Like, let's keep in mind um that we are all still humans. We are all like we all go through stuff. We all need help at some point in our lives. Um, don't let these party politics
Yes.
ruin the fabric of I'm a human, you're a human. I should care about you,
Yes.
and you should care. Like that's the only way we gonna make it. Like having us be put against each other to get a vote. Like because if you watch the commercials, right? How do you know who to vote for based off commercials? Because if every
Everybody
commercial
talking
that comes
about
on talks about this person, she stole this,
Yes.
he stole that, he took money from her, she took money from this person. Like, out, let's get them all out of there. Then let's start
right.
Yeah.
over, get a whole new
Facts.
batch of people because from the outside looking in, everybody is terrible. Like, why are we voting for these same people
Right.
who took money from this person and gave money to this person and went on vacation with this check and didn't come to work for 12 weeks and like
So, with that
uh,
being said, what is drawing you to the polls? Since we have all
Mm.
these issues and all of these things that that really are not changing. What is drawing you to the polls this year?
I
And that's to
I
everybody.
want to vote for the I want to vote for the president because that situation scares me. Number two, um, I feel like too many of our people in this nation like died and got beat, all this
Mm.
stuff to give us the right to vote. Like I'm not just gonna like throw that away. Like people went through a lot to get us to where we are. We might not be as far as we should be, but we're at this point now where we can make our voice be heard. So yes, I'm gonna go out and vote basically off of that. Now, am I trusting in these people who I vote for to really come in and make a big impact or big change? Probably not, because like Sean said, these people make like this is a lifelong job. Like there's no true evaluation. Like annually at your job, you sit down with your supervisor. They give you a score on a list of topics. If you're not performing well, you get the boot. Not here. If your name is big enough, you will get the votes. So,
Yeah.
am I
That's
looking to these
exactly
people
what
to
it
make the
is.
change that we need in this nation? I'm not really looking to them to make the change. I just I don't want to waste those people who went through all these things to get us to this point. But I also think we should, as a nation, love each other enough to say no matter what the government puts in place, no matter what rules they put in place, I should still love my brother enough to care about his well-being in every area of his life.
I
Even if
agree.
that causes me to sacrifice a little to give to the next man, I think that that's okay.
I definitely agree. What about you, Sean?
Sean, you
Maybe
froze.
he's frozen right now. Okay, so okay. Well, until he comes in, I'll say mine. So I agree with
I
you,
think he back.
Carl. Oh,
Oh
you
no, he
back?
not. No, he not.
Okay. So I agree with you, Carl. One of my biggest things, because people say, well, voting, it really don't matter. Our vote don't matter. We've heard that over the years, and certain things like that. But just off the fact that our ancestors fought to be able to have a voice, or even if it doesn't matter, which I think it does, because if that wasn't the case, then Trump wouldn't have been rounding up all those those mailboxes so people could vote. But the 15th Amendment was granted for men to have the right to vote all the way back in 1870, but for black men to be able to vote, but it didn't happen right then. It took some fighting. Actually, it took almost 100 years for things to actually come into play where people could actually, really get to the point where they can vote. And even then, they made it hard for them to be able to vote. In 1864, that's when the 14th Amendment came about, where black people should have been treated equally and had the equal protection under the law. But it wasn't until 1965, almost 100 years later, when President Lyndon Johnson signed the Voting Rights Act in 1965. It outlawed the discrimination voting practices adopted in many southern states after the Civil War. So um, even after then, it took a minute for people to actually, for black people to be able to actually vote. What were you about to
Man.
say? That's
Wait,
crazy, ain't it?
what year did you just say?
I said 1870. That's when the 15th Amendment came about, and it granted black men the right to vote. But it wasn't until like 100 years later, almost in 1965, when President Johnson signed the Voting Rights Act, and
What?
it was only put in in southern states, you know, and even with that,
What? Oh,
when it came to the point where we could vote, they still put stipulations on it. Now you can register to vote, but now you got to take a literacy test, and you got to go through all of these things to be able to even vote. And it just kind of reminded me of Rosa Parks. I was kind of studying her earlier, and I thought about it when she actually went to go register to vote. The lady made it so hard for her to vote. Like, and one thing I appreciate about her was she was persistent. Even after she went to, and at this time you can go register to vote, but they made it so hard. She went to the lady and she was like, "Okay, I'm here to register to vote." And the lady asked her questions, giving her a test, of course, and then she gave her the written part of the test. Rose Parks sat down and did that, came back up. She didn't even look through all of it; just was like, "It's incorrect." And so Rose Park had to keep going back and keep going back just to register to vote. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm going to make sure that I go out and vote, because I'm sure Rosa Parks wasn't the first person that experienced that. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure she wasn't the
Or the
first
last.
person or the last. But the fact that
Right.
so just imagine how many people were turned away, or
wow.
or was told to take this test and couldn't pass it, or was told that they didn't pass it. And she was only able to get it because she told the lady, after going back so many times, like, "Look, if you don't tell me what I'm doing wrong on this test," the lady was lying, of course, "I'm going to get a lawyer." And so then after then, that's when she was like, "Okay." And she still tried to make it hard for her. Well, it's gonna be you got to pay for every year that you didn't get registered after the age of 21. Like, what? Now you're gonna make me, when you should have registered. Like, that's crazy. So now you're gonna make it even harder by saying I gotta pay for every year that I should have, since the age of 21. So she was like 33 when she actually got registered to vote. But it's like, now you're gonna put something else in place to stop me from being able to do what I need to do. But I said all that to say that our ancestors have fought to to be able to vote. And that's one of the reasons why I'm gonna go out, whether it makes a difference or not. I feel like it's a slap in the face to not go out and
It is.
do what it takes to make a difference. Whether it be and we got to learn how to start voting in our neighborhoods. Period. Like, just learning more about the areas that we live in, and the
That
mayors
area.
and the policies, because we always complain about the issues, but we don't do what it takes to. It's almost like with the schools. You know how parents complain about stuff, but they don't go to PTO meetings.
They
They
don't
don't
go
sit
to
in
board
and
meetings.
you know
Yeah.
they don't go to these different board meetings. But you have all these people up there arguing about stuff, and they weren't really there to help with the stuff. And so I just want to make sure that we do our part by going out and voting. Like we have the opportunity this time to make uh, uh, um, a difference. Like according to the USA Today, within of course with less 1 week away, there have been over 80 million people that have voted already, which
That's not.
is more than half of the actual whole total of the people that voted in 2016. So
Wow.
we have an opportunity to make history. Like they've done studies, and it's more than 250 7 million people in the USA, and 240 people, it was 257 million people in USA, and 240 of us are 18 years of older and don't have any felonies and convictions and stuff like that where we're eligible to vote. So we literally can make history. In 2008, the election with Obama versus John McCain was the highest percentage of voters in the last 50 years. And that was at
Oh wow.
61%, 61.58% of voters. That was the highest. The second one was with Trump and Clinton. It was at 60%, 60.1%, and that was in 2016. George Bush versus John McCain was at 60.1 in 2004. Obama and versus Mitt Romney was at 58.6% in 2012, and Bill Clinton versus W.H. Bush was at 58.1%. So we have the opportunity to really make a difference. And I was glad to see that 80 million people have already voted. So I mean, of course, we can't tell you who to vote for, we can't tell you how to vote, but it's important that you vote. And so that's just
Let
my
your
prayer for the
voices
whole
be
thing is
heard, man.
let your voice be heard, no matter how. The thing is, if I go outside and scream, only a few people in my neighborhood gonna hear me. But if all of us go out and scream, more people are gonna hear
That's
what
it.
we're saying. And so
That's it.
make your voice known. Like that's how I look at it. Like that's so important. We have an
Yeah.
opportunity to really make history. This could be one of the biggest of we could take it up to 70% or 80% of people, who actually
People
voted.
really don't. People really don't be out here voting like that though. 60 and
Right.
50%. I didn't think it was
And when
that
I seen
low.
that, I was like, that's kind of low. But then you have
Yeah.
people like Shaq that just came out and said, I actually never voted. I haven't been voting.
Mm.
So how many people like that have not been voting? It's a lot of people that or just haven't used their voice or didn't feel like they they needed to vote. Because some people feel like, well,
Yeah.
it's rigged anyway. It's whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. But it's like I'd rather it be the case, but I still did my part versus I could have helped, but I
Right.
didn't, and it affected me that way. So,
Well,
Yep.
well, Scooter, I would even say I would go further than this. If people believe that it's rigged, vote local, like you were saying earlier. Like you have more impact where
and
you
yo,
live. You have more understanding of the people that is trying to go in, and you can actually meet with a lot of those people, and may have meetings and try to get and have an understanding
Yep.
of where they're coming from. Like you got to know
that's
your elected
true.
officials. You got to know your people that's within the state, representatives of your state. It's very important. Just give you a good example. The elected official that's in the state of Delaware, his name is Tim Dukes. So
Hmm.
when COVID hit, a lot of church leaders were calling him like, "Can we have church?" And he was very responsive. He was like, "Well, this is going on right now. We can't do this. We can't do this, or can't do that." My pastor's like, "Well, can I have it outside?" He said, "Well, yeah, as long as it's 6 feet apart, and doing
Hmm.
all this, doing that." And we're one of the only churches that did. So, like, it's very important to know who your officials are. They're here to represent you.
Mm.
They're a living
Right.
representation of
That's good.
who's in the state or who's in the area. So make sure your voice is heard. Like I felt for me, I was in the majority of like, man, I don't think my voice be heard. I ain't gonna vote. My grandpa used to say, man, you need to get out there and vote. You need to do something. You get a vote. You can do that. And I would be like, I ain't doing that. I'll bump that. But as I got older, and I understand our history and our country and the things we, like y'all been saying, that we went through and we're still going through, and we still being used and abused
Exactly.
in the government policies that don't are not for us. Like these things are,
Hmm.
that they're trying to pull us down is more important, more than ever now that we have a voice. We'll try to understand what's going around, understand what's going on in our communities. I think that's important internationally. If you want to worry about
Hmm.
anything, worry about what's happening.
I agree.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
that's the thing. We have to educate ourselves, and that's why I like platforms like this because it's bringing light to situations that we probably wouldn't, most people wouldn't think about or even dive into to even. And I think that the same way the devil and the enemy depends on our ignorance, so does
Yeah,
the world. They depend on our ignorance.
yeah,
They depend on us not to read. They depend on us not to study. They depend on us not to know the rules, not to know the laws, not to know, even going to, and I know we got to get off here, but even going to the Central Park Five guys, like they depended on the fact that they didn't know the law for them to be able to get over on them and, and talk to them, although they didn't have a lawyer present or an adult. So
mm,
And they were on
they
their hip.
depended on them not to know their rights, their laws, the things that we're supposed to know. And so that's what the world does. They depend on us to be ignorant in situations, and that keeps us from going out to vote. That keeps us from looking into our community and learning who our officials are and that type. And we just that keeps us in a state where we just complainers. We can complain, but we're not doing anything
yeah,
to help.
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah. I
Whew,
call that
man,
kingdom.
this say that again.
I call that kingdom action. We have to have as Christians, we
Mm,
have to have kingdom action. Like we have a different government. We're ambassadors of Christ. God has given us
Hmm.
to be ambassadors on this earth. We serve a different government. And within our community, we are a living representation of who God is. So we have
mm,
everything we need to represent who He is. We're not lacking anything. We're not slacking anything. So it's the season to be about action. Like this platform, other platforms, the season of action. Let's step into our gifts and callings and let's do what God wants us to do.
That's right.
well, you heard it there. So y'all get
Man,
out
y'all
and use your
good.
voice.
Y'all good, man. I love y'all.
Yes, this was awesome. I enjoyed both you guys. Sean Scott,
Thank
we
you.
appreciate you, sir, just for joining the conversation, like bringing a different perspective of what we would have probably gone with conversation. And so we appreciate it so much. We thank you and pray nothing but blessings over you and your family and your health and your
Yes,
wealth.
sir.
And y'all
Yeah,
be healthy,
so yeah, we
be
appreciate that.
safe.
And to all our viewers on tonight, we thank you so very much as well. Thank you for joining in the conversation. Hopefully, you all got something out of this. Hopefully, you got something that you can share with somebody. Hopefully, it makes you go out and vote. Maybe you were thinking about not voting or didn't
Hopefully,
think that,
hopefully it got the wheels turning
Oh,
in your head.
yeah, yeah,
oh,
yeah.
oh,
So hopefully, you got
Something,
your wheels spinning and you
something
realize
to think
that
about.
see,
I ain't got no boots, but I'm going to go get me some boots so I can pull my
That's
pull
right.
myself up by my bootstrap.
You might not have
sit,
started with some boots, don't mean you can't go get you none.
You can go get you some boots because
get some boots at
they
Walmart
boots may have been given to them, but I'm going to buy my own boots.
or Payless.
Hey, they might keep trying to move the boots away from you when you try to pick them up, but you just keep fighting to get them, man. Don't give up.
They can be
Find the
brand boots,
boots.
those boots, all kinds of
That's
boots.
right.
They might
Get what you
they might
need.
have the boots on the fishing string and say you got to be quicker than that when you try to get them, but you can still
Gotta be
go get
faster
them,
than
man.
that.
Hey man,
Do what it takes.
Don't stop trying
Get
to
you
get them
some.
boots.
So get something up with your hands on and snatch it when he ain't paying attention.
Right.
Get your own boots.
That's right.
But yeah, in all
We ain't quitting,
seriousness,
okay?
don't quit.
Hey, Scoot, that's right. Don't quit. And Scooter, we had a good situation this weekend where, hey, we resourceful, right, as a people. So don't let these things get in your way to where you think, oh, that's unattainable. Oh, that'll never change. Okay, it might change. It might not change. Okay, you might have to never. It might be something in that you have to go through to get you stronger for where you going. So that don't mean you just sit down and give up because it ain't gonna change. Sometimes you might have
Perseverance
to walk through them muddy waters.
with your socks on.
Because once you get to the end, you're gonna be stronger than when you started, man.
That's right. That's right.
So
That's a word.
go on and get them boots.
And that's the thing. Just because you don't have the boots, don't mean you can't learn what you got. You know, a lot of our culture people, we didn't have cleats, but we learned how to play football. We were able to, it made us stronger. So when we did get them, it's like, they fast and they know what they're doing because we learn how to persevere. We learn how to say, you know what, I don't have $1, but I can use this 10 cents to make it up. And learning the value of things. And so don't let nothing stop you. Don't let nothing block you. Don't allow anything to sway you away from what your goals are, what your dreams are, what your visions are. We are all about building each other up. And and I'm just really thinking about what you were saying, Carl. Like the world would be so much better if it wasn't blue and red or black and white, so to speak. But if we just looked at it as that's my fellow brother, that's my fellow sister, and they're struggling, how can I help? And then not be a political thing, or so we got to use our voice, guys. We got to, and we got to keep
Use your
spreading
voice.
the good news, and we got to keep educating ourselves. Like that's what's gonna take us to the next level. I'm gonna get my boots, man. I'm probably gonna put my boots on.
That's right. That's right. We all gonna get us some boots tonight.
Okay. But again, we thank you.
And when you get your boots, get out there Tuesday and vote in.
Wear your boots Tuesday. Wear them boots Tuesday.
Man.
All right.
All right. Sean, where can people reach you?
I mean, they can reach me on Facebook right now. I'm trying to eventually I'm trying to start a Facebook channel. It's gonna be called the Kingdom Mindset. I'm trying to build that up eventually. Right now, it's in the beginning stages, but that's what the YouTube channel will be called, the Kingdom Mindset. But they can reach me on Facebook, Sean Christopher Scott. They can find me on there. And I'm the type of person that pray whatever they need, whatever person is lacking. I'm that person to be there and try to give them what they need.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you again, Carl. Where can people reach you at?
Man, listen, I don't be on social media like that, dude. You can find me at Designs by Davis.
That's what I was waiting for you to do. Where I was waiting for you to
go. Yeah, but that's it. I'll just be, talking to people and making stuff. That's it.
So for those that don't know, this guy and his wife, they have their own company where they can do designs for you, for your t-shirts or clothing, and they also sell vinyl as well. So if you are a creative person that actually do that, you can reach out to Designs by David and get you some vinyl. You can be making your own shirt. So everything that we wear on here, most of the time comes from Designs by Davis. So he downplaying what they he really does, but he's really awesome at what they do. And they don't just do just regular designs, and they put it together and they put time into it, they put thought into it, and I can appreciate that. and that's why I don't mind doing whatever I can to help out because I see something in you all, and I see great potential, and you all are bosses, like for real, and so
Awesome.
so
Awesome.
I'm believing God for the boss money, for the boss advertisement,
Come on
for
now.
the boss,
Come on now.
all of that, that come.
Speak that thing. Speak it.
I'm believing that for you guys, for real.
In
So
the name of Jesus. In the
right in the
name
name
of
of.
Jesus.
Speak that thing.
And okay, so if you all want to get in touch with me on all platforms, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all of them, I'm under Scooter Lamont. I try to keep it simple, so if you need to get in touch with me, um, my email is scooterlamont@gmail.com. And if you all have any questions, any comments, any concerns, if you enjoyed the conversation tonight, send us a comment on through our email. That's at man with three N's, man me too. So MANNMETOO @gmail.com. And send us whatever you all would like for us to talk about. If you have a comment, if you have any concerns, anything you want us to address, also go to our YouTube channel, Man with Three N's, me too, and type in that, and you'll be able to see any of these shows that we've been able to produce for you guys and for each other. Because we are definitely out here to build each other up. We're out here to
Yes,
give each other
sir.
a platform to be able to speak. We've been talking about some serious topics. We've been able to laugh. We've been able to do everything on this platform. Talk about God. Like we don't leave anything out, and so that's one thing I appreciate about this platform is that we can dive into all the topics. We can be real, we can be spiritual, we can talk about the natural, we can,
Amen.
we deal with all of it here because we're all going through certain things, all going through different things, whether it be emotional, psychological, spiritually, we're all going through different things, and we need to be able to have a place where we can express ourselves. So that's
Yes, sir.
that's what we have for you all. We appreciate you again. Thank you again, Sean Scott. We appreciate you, and
Yes,
let us
sir.
know when you get that podcast going so we can support you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you guys. Anybody else got anything to say? Peace.
All right. Peace.
Deuces. God bless you.